Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sidelined, the podcast to get your fix while sports are in limbo. Here are your hosts, Avi Labar, Carlin Baith, and yours truly, John Root.
And welcome back to Sidelined for episode 3. We've been talking a lot of hockey lately, so let's start talking some b-ball. We got a great guest today. Abby, who we got?
That's right. We're so excited, guys, to have ShahAhmadi joining us. She is the Hornets Live pre- and post-game show host, as well as their sideline reporter. So we get to find out all things that happened when the NBA went on pause because, of course, that was, the first thing that happened, and then it was domino effect afterwards. So we'll hear her perspective on that. We'll talk about some hoops and, of course, her cute puppy. Who doesn't want to hear about that?
I want to hear about the puppy. So grab your coffees, grab your wines, whatever you're drinking. Let's talk some shop, shall we?
Thanks for joining us today, Ashley. She's currently with the Charlotte Hornets, and I'll let you kind of tell us what exactly your role is with them and give us some background as to how you got there.
First off, thank you so much, Abby. Thank you all for having me. I'm so thankful to be able to talk sports at a time where we don't have sports right now. So this is awesome. So thank you again for having me. Yes, I am the sideline reporter and the pre and post game host for the Charlotte Hornets. I've been doing that since last December, so about a year and a half-ish. And then before that, I was a digital reporter with Fox Sports South, and I covered all their teams. So their 3 NBA teams, the Hurricanes, the Predators, the Braves, all of it. And now I do a little bit of Braves in the summer and the off season. And yeah, it's been great. I love it so much. It's obviously really not a great time to work in sports at this precise moment, but overall it has been absolutely fantastic. And I'm just waiting for the day that they can say play ball again, because I miss sports so much.
Aren't we all, right? So give us kind of your journey to where you got right now. I know you were doing some local TV in Mississippi, right? And
Yeah.
then you're from Georgia though, and then you ended up back with Fox Sports South. And then it was a pretty cool opportunity as to how you joined the Charlotte Hornets, correct? You want to just kind of give us that little step-by-step how you got there?
Absolutely. I went to the University of Georgia, graduated from there, and then my first job was in Meridian, Mississippi, which you haven't heard of it. It's a very small town, about 20 miles across the Alabama-Mississippi border. And it was honestly, tiny town, but they love their sports there. And it was the best first job I could have asked for. I was the weekend sports anchor, but I actually got to anchor 5 nights a week right off the bat, which was kind of unheard of right when you graduated college. So that was really good just for my experience. And like I said, we were so close to Alabama that I got to cover Alabama sports plus Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, all of that too. So it was such a great way to just kind of kickstart my career. I wouldn't change it for the world. I worked all the time, never got to come home, worked all the holidays, got no pay for it, but it was amazing. And it was definitely something that I feel like prepared me to the role that I have now. So I spent 2 years in Meridian, and then I spent 2 more years in Jackson, Mississippi, which they had a Target, so I felt like I was living my best life compared to, they had a Kroger too, which was like all we had in Meridian. It was the little things. Meridian had a Walmart and like a Piggly Wiggly. So, or a Cash
What's
Saver.
a Piggly Wiggly?
What is a Piggly Wiggly?
Oh, they're West Coast people. They don't know what Piggly Wiggly is.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess
Sounds like a children's book.
It's a grocery store, but we upgraded to a Kroger and a Publix when I went to Jackson. So we were living our best lives up there. No, but it was so great. And, in Jackson, I actually got to cover the Mississippi Braves, which kind of full circle moment. Ronald Acuna was with the M Braves and Ozzie was with the M Braves. And then I got to cover them with the Atlanta Braves. So that was a really cool moment. And yeah, I spent 2 more years there. And then I got a digital position with Fox Sports South. And kind of right off the bat, I went to Cooperstown and got to follow Chipper Jones and his family around as he got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then I covered the MLB All-Star Game. And then they needed just a pre-game, post-game host for home games for the Charlotte Hornets. And they knew, basketball kind of has been in my family. I played growing up, and they knew how much I loved it. So it was kind of in the right moment and being there in the right moment, but also I was really ready for it. So I started just hosting the home games. I would go up to Charlotte for their home games and then come back down to Atlanta and do digital stuff in Atlanta. And then when Stephanie Reddy, their longtime sideline reporter, left in December, she had a good opportunity. They called me into the office. I honestly thought that they were calling me in to say like that I was doing maybe a good job on the pregame show. So I was just kind of coming in like, oh, okay, this will be great. And then they dropped the bomb of, hey, Stephanie's leaving, you're up next. And I was like, oh, I mean, that was a moment I will truly never forget, because I told myself when I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a sideline reporter in the NBA. So that moment was definitely, and my mom happened to be, we were picking up something from the office. It was so random, and she happened to be with me. So it was a really cool moment. But yeah.
Were you driving back and forth from Charlotte to Atlanta?
I was, yeah. When I was just doing the home games, sometimes I would fly if it was like a quick game.
Yeah.
But sometimes if it was a home stretch, I would just drive my car up. It's about a 4-hour drive.
It's a good drive.
What?
Yeah.
It's a good drive.
What?
That's crazy.
4-hour drive?
By yourself?
Yeah, by myself. I mean, it's really not that bad of a drive. And honestly, I mean, yeah.
Wait, one way or round trip?
Both.
One way.
4 hours?
Yeah,
one
4
way.
hours one way, 4 hours back. Yeah.
Every
That's
game
crazy.
day.
No, just home games.
Every home game.
That's a lot of the game.
What?
I mean, sometimes they go on the road for, when they go on the West Coast, I didn't see them for like 2 weeks. But yeah, I lived in a hotel for basically 6 months, because once I'd go stay in a hotel, obviously, when I went and did the games. But then when Stephanie left and I was sidelining, it was kind of like I didn't have time to get a place. So I literally lived in a hotel for 5-6 months.
Okay, pause real quick. When you're driving 4 hours one way, 4 hours back the other way, and you have to do your hair and makeup, and the game is happening, like, can you break down your day for someone? Because I think people think that we all just show up and it is what it is on the face and the clothes. But no, there's like a factor that's in there as well for getting ready time. What in the world does the day look like for you?
Well,
Sorry to
No, please. I mean, when I was driving or flying, whatever, back and forth, I'd come in usually the night before. I wouldn't drive the morning of the game. So,
oh my God, thank goodness. I
that
was worried about you.
Yeah, that would help. And that's actually
like
funny.
my commute. I'm like, okay, my commute times 4 hours, like every day.
Yeah, I thought LA had bad traffic, and I'm like, no, I'm fine now. I'm so thankful.
It definitely was I mean, I got to know the hotel cleaning staff so well. They loved me there. And like that part was, I mean, they would that part was kind of cool, not gonna lie. But I didn't have the same room the whole time. So I'd have to like check. I basically lived out of my car / the hotel room. I mean, I'd have to like check. Yeah. But anyway, besides, it's funny that you asked that though, because when I started traveling and I work with Del Curry, he's our analyst, and Eric Collins, our play-by-play guy. And, their game days look a lot different than my game days because I have hair and because I have to do my makeup.
They don't get it, John. Guys don't get it.
They do not get it. I'm like,
well, I'm not bald, so I got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, you kind of get it. Yeah.
There's some effort that goes into that, I feel like, John. Like, that's like, what,
A little
30
blow dry, a
minutes?
little bit of product.
What products do you use?
Oh, that's a secret, Ashley. I can't tell anybody that.
He's
No.
waiting for sponsorship.
If I need some help, you all have great hair. So, but yeah, sometimes Del Curry will play a round of golf in the morning before a game. And I'm like, I know, but he's Del Curry.
Thing too. I know. Yeah.
It's a different 4-hour commute.
Yeah.
What are you going to see? Yeah. So, but I'm like, I have to be back like 2 hours before we leave. And they're like, 2 hours. I'm like, hello. Like I have to blow dry my hair.
Don't you hate
makeup on.
too when you get to the game and the guys are like, hey, what'd you do today? And they're like, oh, I hit the gym for like an hour before. And I'm like,
yeah,
I can't hit the gym on the same day that my hair needs to be clean. Like it's a whole freaking science.
It's so funny you said that. I was just talking to my brother because he asked me today to go work out. And I was like, all right, I washed my hair this morning. Like I need to like use it for a couple days and then we can do the cycle. Then we can go to the gym, sweat, wash it. I
Oh,
literally
gosh.
go to the gym based on my hair cycle.
Yes.
So Carlin and Ashley, you guys both have, obviously there's a ton of NBA games and there's a ton of hockey games. So I want you guys to both kind of talk about this because it's on that topic. How do you guys pack for away games? Because like you can only take so much, but then you have to have a different outfit every day.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Even the home games, like you put a chunk of games in a month, like you can't repeat your outfits, right?
No.
You want to go? You want to take it first, Carlin?
I will say this. I have the heaviest suitcase on the plane to the point where I can see our equipment managers just rolling their eyes when it comes down the little like track thing. And I'm like, oh, please don't hurt yourself taking it off the thing. It is so bad. I definitely have the most like amount of luggage next to like the massage therapist who's like towing his table along. Like
Right.
it's literally insane how much we pack. And then not repeating the outfits. The first season I was really scared about that, and then the second season I got a little bit better, and I would have like kind of like a month planned out and then like kind of repeat it the next month and just hope that no one cares. Like, but it was, I don't know about you, but it was like you don't want to wear the same thing twice, but sometimes you're just like,
Oh, same. Especially like the first, like when I first started doing it, I thought the same thing. I was like, I need clothes. Like I don't have enough clothes for this. Like I can't repeat outfits, blah, blah, blah. And then this year I'm like, okay, I wear it October. I'll wear it again in December or like late November, like wear it again in maybe March. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
is the
I
worst
try to
part
be
for you shoes? Is that because you have to do different shoes with different outfits too? So like when you're packing, is there like, all right, these 4 shoes are going in this bag?
I think the worst part, honestly, is when we do those trips where we go to Phoenix, but we go to Utah. So it's freezing.
Yep.
And it's beautiful and sunny.
Yep.
So it's like, that's the hardest part because I have to bring literally like a winter coat if it's, you know, whatever time of year we're going and it's snowing. And that those winter coats can weigh who knows how many pounds by themselves. And it's like, unless I wear it on the plane, I think that's the hardest part just because different seasons, different altitudes, different time zones, like all that stuff. It's just, it's hard to pack for that. And I always try, and it's like for the guys, they can just put a different tie in there and call it a day. But it's like, we have to plan these outfits way in advance, like before we leave, have them all, at least I do. I try to have them all planned out and I can't just like throw stuff in a bag and wing it.
One more question about fashion and then Abby can reel us back in.
John's sleeping.
I know.
Sleeping.
John, are you there? John?
You guys talking? What are you talking about?
Your social media kind of displays all of the different cool outfits that you do have. Where are you getting these? Like, are you like a thrift shopper? Are you no, I buy designer so it lasts for 10 years? Like, where do you kind of curate and gather all of these amazing outfits? Because you definitely have like a signature style and it's really, really hip.
Okay, I just like, thank you. I literally could virtually hug you right now because honestly, this year I'm like, I love clothes. I'm not a designer type of gal. I like to find really good deals and thrifty deals. And I don't love having a lot of clothes, to be honest. It stresses me out when my closet's overflowing. So what I did was I got a little deal with this store in Charlotte called Fabric. And I literally wear their clothes, take a little picture of them, and then wear them for the game, and then give them back. So
that's great.
That's amazing.
Some of them are like my own clothes. That. Oh my gosh, it was and they're the best. It's like a local store there, and it's just like 3 girls working there, and they're so great. And I come in every couple weeks and get a couple outfits, and then exchange them and do the same thing. Just because I really don't like having a lot of clothes. Like it stresses me out. So I throw in some of my own stuff, but TJ Maxx for like jumpsuits, for their Calvin Klein little jumpsuits. Yeah. Oh my God. It is that's my holy grail. So I don't know. I definitely have kind of taken a little bit of pride into my outfits, I think, this year. So that makes me feel so good that you said that.
Keep it up. As she's wearing like the cutest puffy sleeve.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I need to, man. Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
I think it's such an important thing to talk about though, because like girls listening to this, it's a struggle. Like it seems so like
it is.
John's over here sleeping. Like it's important because you're being like people, you have to be professional as well. So you can't just, dresses are tough. Like, especially for you. Ashley's tall, for those of you, John and Carlin don't know, but she's, you're probably taller than me. You're what, 5'11"?
5'10", yeah. But then with heels, people think that I'm like, especially when I stand next to the quote shorter basketball players, they think I'm like 6'5". I would stand next to Kemba Walker, and he's only like 6'1" ish. So if I wear my tall heels, which I proudly wear, I am like eye level with him. And I literally get so many DMs asking me how tall I am and like, am I 6'5", blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, Kemba's just kind of on the, shorter end. So
you're in the right sport for that, though, for your tallness.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I love wearing a good heel. And also, sorry, last thing on the fashion thing. Also, I love finding things with a belt around the waist. You could put your IFB pack, your earpiece.
Huge.
Or a
Huge.
pocket.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that is the game changer. If you can find something cute that has like a little belt or a pocket, then you don't have to, otherwise I have to like stick it up and by my neck, and it's just.
These are the secrets that up and coming sideline reporters need to know about, because you
I
can
learned
just
the hard way.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't wear a lot of dresses because I'm very insecure about my height, and I worry that sometimes I don't look professional when I do wear some dresses. So I'm just stick to pants and be safe there. And so the one time I was filling in for Mike Maniscalco on our broadcast, I was like, I'm gonna wear a dress. Mm-hmm. And I get there and they're like, where are you going to put your IFB? I'm like, where am I going to put my IFB? I didn't have pockets.
Yes.
I'm like freaking out. And I had a belt that I had brought, like, or I don't know. I think they ran it up. They might've put it on the back of my neck, but if you don't think about it and you get there and you're going through your routine, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, where am I going to clip my, those are the things you think about. And so
for sure. You're like thinking you're rocking this cute dress, and then you're like, oh my gosh, where am I going to put my pack? Like, what am I going to do? So that's a key that they don't really tell you about in school.
No. John.
And I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I've been trying to keep up, but I am extremely interested, and I've always wanted to know these kind of things. So it's been nice to just sit back, listen to. I'm never going to go through these things. You'll never see me in a dress at a game, hopefully. But it is really interesting. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the audiences really go on to see any of that. I don't know what kind of night we're gonna have, but
you could be Mrs. Doubtfire for Halloween one year. You don't know.
Hello. But I think when I was going over the show notes here, I was thinking about like the fashion side of things. I know I've talked to like Carlin and Abby about that like a tiny bit. I'm on the guy side of things, so I'm thinking like, well, what kind of bomber jacket am I going to wear? I usually wear more team related stuff than kind of just go into a fashion boutique or something like that. I always think about the kind of shoes I'm wearing, but we all know that you get super creative when it comes to fashion. And then now we all have to get pretty creative when it comes to the content that we're throwing out there. So this is a two-part question, talking about how creative you're getting with content right now individually and for CMT and with Fox Sports South, and how you found out when the NBA got canceled, suspended, and put on pause.
So when I found out that it was put on pause was actually, we were in Miami, and I just had like the best day before, because who doesn't love playing in Miami? The weather was beautiful. I mean, you just stroll around and it's sunny, 75. So it was awesome. And then we were playing the game of our lives. We were down 20 points at half.
I remember seeing that.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Miami, they had only lost in that building 4 other times. So we were, we came in there obviously like chip on our shoulder a little bit. This Miami at home, like this is tough. We were down 20 points. We made it even harder on ourselves. Came back, won the freaking game. Sorry, but won it. And it was so incredible. But it was like, I think third quarter, maybe fourth, the news kind of started dropping. It was like Rudy Gobert has it. And then all that stuff happened. And like the trainer ran out and told, stop the game. And so we were kind of just following it while the game was still playing and while the Hornets were making this comeback of their lives. And so then I remember at the end, this was the first game that we started practicing social distancing. So I couldn't go into the locker rooms pregame. I had to interview from 6 feet away. So that was the first game that we started doing that. And they were talking about, I think the Warriors were the first ones who were going to have no fans like the next day, Thursday or something. So we kind of realized, okay, it's probably going to come to this. But then see, when Rudy Gobert was announced that he had it, it just kind of spiraled. And I remember after the game, I was distancing from our head coach, and, I didn't want to take away from the big win, but it was like this big bomb had dropped that they were postponing the season. And so it was like, my very first question was, congrats on the win, but what's next? Like, what are we going to do? And, he kind of was like, I know as little as you do. We're going to go back to Charlotte, kind of figure things out and see what happens. So I don't think people thought that it was going to be this long. And I mean, we still have a good ways to go. I think hopefully we see a positive trend in the next couple weeks, but I don't think people realize kind of how big of a deal it was until we all went home. And then like the next couple of days, things obviously developed. So that was really sad. And I just remember being in Charlotte and not knowing, and just finally after a couple of days, just being like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to drive home and be with my family. And so now it's like the new normal that everyone keeps talking about. And I was so fortunate that CMT, I was able to set up this home studio here, and I did some work there. And then I've been doing some Skype interviews. I actually did one with Dwayne Bacon today. And then I did one with Dell and Eric the other week, just to kind of stay connected. And like you said, people are trying to be creative, come up with content. And I know a lot of things are re-airing on our network and everything, but it's hard. It's so hard. It's hard to do things from a distance, and hopefully it still keeps it interesting. I mean, we're having a virtual draft coming up. So it's just a whole different ballpark right now.
Are you going to be covering the virtual draft for the Horn, or like content? Are you guys going to plan for that?
I don't exactly know what Fox Sports South has planned for it. I'm sure they're going to be covering it in some way. Right now, this week so we have Sneaker Week. We did it in Atlanta, where we kind of featured the Atlanta Hawks and their sneakers and their cool shoes. And we have this guy who makes sneakers come in, and we're doing that same thing, but in Charlotte. And we had like a big blowout kind of plan for it because we were supposed to do it in Charlotte. But now we're kind of adjusting and still trying to use that content. But like today I interviewed Dwayne asking about his shoe collection, and of course it's not the same, but you kind of just have to make the best out of what we're given right now.
Can you dive in a little more about your job with CMT? Because that's pretty unique and off the sports record. But, obviously to John's point earlier, festivals, those are events that are on hold as well. So what kind of things are you doing for them, and how'd you get involved with that?
So I'm so sad because there was actually a trip, like this was booked months ago, a trip to Napa in California, and all these country artists were going to play in this charity event, and they were sending me to go be the reporter for it. And oh my gosh, I was so excited. It was like, oh man, it was a bucket list. And so, I mean, they're postponing everything. There's an award show that obviously in June, the Country Music Awards was supposed to happen. They're postponing that to September, October. So I actually, I think they kind of saw me from the Braves. And reached out to me, which was, I mean, really, really cool. And I thought it was a joke at first, because it was like a message on Instagram, and it was from one of their producers. And I was like, oh, this isn't real. And she was like, this is real. Like, you can look my email up, you can look our directory up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so then I had a Skype interview with them. And then I did a couple shoots, and it has been so much fun. It's like, I know sports is entertainment and obviously music is entertainment, but it's so different. And I don't know, I love it. I already loved country music before I started doing this. And so it's just kind of it's just so much fun. It's different, but obviously you still have to prepare. Like, I prepare to interview these artists, and you have to still, do your work on camera. And so there's a lot of similarities, but it's just like, it's just fun. It's a lot of fun. Not that basketball isn't fun, but it kind of stresses me out, and it's a lot more prep into it, I think. So it kind of is like sometimes they kind of worked around my Hornets schedule right now, just until it was over. So I sometimes have a game on a Monday, fly to Nashville literally for 12 hours on a Tuesday, and then fly back the morning of the next game on a Wednesday and do another game. So it wasn't always easy. I'd get like no sleep, but I would never have traded it for the world because it's so fun.
Do you have a favorite music artist festival that you've gone to over the years?
It's like an echo on it. And it's like,
You sound like Bane from Batman.
John, unplug it and plug it back in again.
I can't wait for you to re-listen to that back.
Good God.
Oh,
Yes! Wait,
it
Are we
works.
back?
we're back.
All right, we're back, baby.
Holy smokes.
Oh.
I think your
I don't know
computer
what to
got
tell you.
possessed.
Like somebody, John's soul left, and then another soul came.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
was-
apologize for that exorcism that you guys just witnessed.
I'm like
Uh,
sweating.
Glad you're back with us.
Wow.
Dude. Sorry, MJ. So we're on the country music topic. Who's your favorite country music artist, and is there a favorite festival you've gone to over the years?
So I think I've seen Casey Musgraves like 4 times already. I'm a huge Casey Musgraves fan. And then same with Maren Morris. I'm a big fan. I also like a lot of the old country, like George Strait, Travis Tritt. I like that stuff too. But yeah, I think Casey Musgraves, I've seen the most. I haven't been to any music festivals, which is crazy. And I really want to. I know there's one in Atlanta, but I'm usually working. So hopefully this can kind of take me into that. I would love to go to obviously an award show and a festival. I think that would be so much fun. So hopefully that's in the stars in the future once coronavirus is settled. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so too. Stagecoach is incredible. So if you ever want to make your way to Southern California, that is a place to be.
So I was actually born in Palm Springs, and I know like Coachella's there, and I know, isn't that crazy? I was born in Palm Springs, but I would love to go and actually go to Coachella. So, and Stagecoach.
Another thing we definitely wanted to talk about, I put it in the show notes. You have the cutest dog maybe I've seen on social media. You've been teaching it some new tricks. Talk about the doggo.
Oh my gosh, you guys, you're pulling out all my favorite things, pulling out my heartstrings. That is my precious pride and joy, Lucy. So it's crazy because she's actually a golden doodle, but if you see her in real life, like we joke about it, it's like not what I ordered, even though I didn't order her. She was my friend's dog and I ended up taking her. But you know, you think when you get a golden doodle, you get like a non-shedding, like, you know, super fluffy, curly. That's what we kind of thought we were getting with her. Not at all. She sheds so much. She doesn't look like a golden doodle. I don't know where she came from. And her parents like actually look like golden doodles. So not sure, but she has the funniest little personality. And she's just, I've never been so, I've never really been like, I'm a huge animal person, but I've never been one to be like super obsessed with my pet. I'm obsessed with her. I mean, she's so human-like that it's hard not to be obsessed with her. And we've been learning some quarantine tricks, I like to call them. She's really good with the tennis ball, and I've just been bouncing it off of any wall or anything, and she catches it in her mouth. So we've been doing that a lot. And my latest one is we sat her up on the couch and she watched TV and like yawned. And I mean, it was incredible. I was like, you just told her to stay, and she just stayed there and watched TV with us for a couple of minutes. And I was like, this dog is literally human. So I've been spending so much time with her, and that has been just the best. That has been a blessing of this quarantine.
Is this her? This is.
God.
That's her.
Oh my God.
Little birthday hat.
Look at this.
She looks
That's
like
so
a
cute.
golden retriever.
Yeah, that does not look like a
That's
golden
not a golden doodle.
Don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. Like,
She's
look
for
at this.
sure a golden retriever.
Yeah. Okay. I maybe I can show.
curly fur. Oh wait, it's bright. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh, the tail.
Human dog.
That's
Oh,
John
right.
watching Tiger
That's all
King.
of us.
Are you kidding
All
me?
of us right
Whose
now.
dog does?
Oh my gosh.
And then she was one more picture. Easter bunny.
Aw.
Easter bunny loose. Like, you just dress her up and she just stays there. I'm like, oh, okay. So she's a great TV dog, because I think she would be great in a movie. Because she's really good at
Somebody lied to you guys though, because that's for sure a golden retriever, and that's probably why.
I mean, she has these
sheds
crimped
and, like-
ears. Oh yeah, she has these crimped ears and like a fluffy tail. Like, but I don't understand. I really don't understand where she came from. So
So cute.
but she's
So-
fresh.
So besides playing with Lucy, what is there like a quarantine activity you've done, something new you've learned, a hobby you've picked up? Because we had the conversation recently about like, what are our hobbies? Because we work so much.
We work
Like,
so much.
Hobbies are work.
Yeah, our hobbies are work. I was just saying, like, this is which I'm grateful for, but this is the most time I've ever spent with my family. This is the most, like, I've never even taken a vacation longer than 5 days. And to have this time, I mean, you can kind of, like, I try to think positively and be like, when are we ever going to get this again? Like, I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully, you know, we can get a hold of this. But it's like you kind of have to sit back and think like, okay, let's, you know, make the best of this and really try, and otherwise it just gets depressing, at least for me. So I try and think of the positives with that. But one thing is I was joking, I was like, I'm either going to become really fit or really fat. And I have been really trying to work out and, like, you know, because obviously, at least for me, I can just sit at home and like all the snacks galore, but I've been really trying to work out a lot. I've been going on runs. I've been going on a lot of walks just because it's all social distancing. You can do it by yourself. And yeah, like I said, I've just been spending a lot of time with my family that I haven't gotten in a couple of years, just because when I was in Mississippi, I never really got to go home. And, you know, with my schedule now, it's like if I see my family, sometimes it's for 24 hours. I mean, I came in for the Atlanta Hawks game, saw them at the game, and then had to fly and go to the next game. So that part's just been, I've really been trying to spend time with them, helping my brother in his backyard, doing some outdoor activities. But besides that, I know, I feel like I should like learn a language or something, or I don't know. I feel like I should do something productive. I've been reading.
The family thing is such a good point, though. I can appreciate that as well. I'm with my family right now. So for those that are with their families and have the opportunity to spend that time with them, what have you guys played any good games? Like, do you have any good family games for people?
Pictionary. We love Pictionary. We do boys against girls, and it gets heated. I mean, it is just, we played the other night, and oh my gosh. And Uno. We love Pictionary, Uno, and just kind of regular card games as well. But those have been our go-tos for now. Yeah, if you have a old Pictionary, bring it out, because that's a fun one.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of games, John has a game. John, you want to
definitely have a game.
Let's
so
play.
obviously your name is extremely difficult to spell. And I'm sure you've had a lot of moments growing up where people have just totally butchered it. So we're going to play a game called Spell Other Athletes and Coaches' Names Around the League.
Oh my gosh. What a game.
You can't Google this.
No,
Wow.
no
Okay.
Googling, no cheating at all. So are you ready, Ashley?
I guess so. As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, and all you have to do is spell the last names. Not like that makes it any easier. But we're going to start with Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski. Spell Krzyzewski.
Oh my God. Is there a silent K?
Yes.
Yes. Good start, Ashley. Very good start.
Hence the Coach K.
That part, of course. But then, is there another? Like, I'm wondering. Oh man, that's how far I go. I never spell his name out. I only put Coach K. So I'm wondering if there's another silent K in there. Is what I should have said. Maybe Krzyzewski, like KSCH.
Carlin, what do you think?
I'm staring at it. I'm a cheater. I can't.
Oh,
it's in our show notes. I'm like, no, there's no CA in there at all. So
What?
You had the look on your face like
spell.
Spell it.
Okay, here's the correct spelling. KRZYZEWSKI.
Is it like John
Krasinski?
I feel like you can hear John's syllable, like you can hear his letters in his name. This one,
Ooh.
Coach K, I feel like there's sounds that aren't even a letter in there.
Who would ever know that R comes after the K?
Never guess. Because I mean, when do you write out his name? It's always Coach K.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. Wow, you started off.
I wonder if he even knows how to spell it, to be honest.
My dad used to make me stay home and write my name out until I couldn't like go play with my friends until I spelled it correctly. So maybe he had the same problem.
Was there an easy way for you to remember it growing up? Because I feel like there's kind of like a in there.
There is a
So
ha
Shamadi
ha,
like comedy.
and then there's like a capital A in the middle. So, but it's all one word.
There's a capital A in the middle of your name?
There is. The proper pronounce or spelling is SHAH capital AHMADI.
What's the origin of that?
So I'm half Persian.
Country of origin, please.
Yeah, my dad's from
Use it in a
Iran.
sentence.
And then my mom is white. So that's why my name is the whitest name ever, Ashley Nicole, and then Shamadi. So I don't know what happened there. Really white.
All right, Ashley, 2 more for you because I know this can get excruciating. This is
Oh my
we started out hot. All right, Novak Djokovic. Spell Djokovic.
Joki. Jokic. Wait, say it again.
So Novak Djokovic, tennis player. Djokovic, spell it.
Okay, is it? I'm thinking of
You think
Denver
of
I'll
Nuggets.
give you.
Yeah,
I'll give you a
I'm trying
hint.
to, like, I'm trying to like roll with that and
It's in
think that it's
NBA mode right now.
yeah. Djokovic. Okay,
I'll give you a hint. There's another silent letter to start out this name.
of course there is. Is it a silent K again?
It is not a silent K. All right. It is DJOKOVIC Djokovic.
Wow.
I didn't know the D.
Wow, that's a good one.
We're gonna finish off with an NBA player.
Oh, thank
Probably would have
Probably
been
knows this one.
probably would have been the MVP of the league
Oh.
if the NBA kept
Like,
going.
she knows.
Spell
Go.
Giannis's last name.
Antetokounmpo. Okay. ANTEKOUMPO.
Yeah.
Let's go!
Oh,
Ding, 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 ding. Ladies and gentlemen, Shamadi like comedy gets the third
Give
one
me the
right. Good
basketball
work.
one and I'll
Spelling
take
bee
it.
champion.
Very, very impressive. Thank
One
you
out
for
of
joining us
three.
for that
One
game.
out of three. That was awesome.
That was very well done. I know that was difficult, so thanks for playing along. That was great.
Funniest moment on the job.
Yeah,
That
that's what
I
I was
want.
ask.
Oh,
Or most embarrassing.
Oh gosh, I don't even want to
Embarrassing
say.
and funny go hand in hand, I feel like, for sure.
Okay. I don't even want to say my most embarrassing because it's embarrassing. It's about me forgetting my mic at a very crucial time. Needed it and I forgot it. And this was like one of my first interviews when I started sidelining. So I was so nervous and I I would try to write out questions. Like now I try to write out kind of, bullets and just go with it. But when I first started, I really tried to write out the questions and like, I was just so nervous that I was writing. And I think I felt like my pen was my mic maybe. And I like went out in the court getting ready to interview Kemba and they were coming down to me and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was so embarrassing.
No.
And I remember Del and Eric, instead of making me feel better, they were like, yeah, we've never done that before. And I was like, I mean, I've never done it again. And knock on wood, I'll never do it ever again. But that was so embarrassing for me. And then a funny moment is when last Christmas, I asked Del what he got for Christmas. That was his favorite gift. And he said his toilet. Because he got one of those cool electronic toilets that do everything for you.
a bidet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He was just reading it and we were talking about it and he loved it. And that was hilarious the way that that was his favorite Christmas gift. I think that was kind of his only Christmas gift. So maybe that was why, but he loved the toilet.
Is that a conversation on air that you guys were having?
Oh, live TV.
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
hilarious.
day after Christmas, we were in Brooklyn and he, hey, Del, like, how was your Christmas? What'd you get? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, my toilet. And then he just went on to describe it. And I was like, you know what? Let's just roll with it. So that was really funny.
That's awesome. Wait, so the what did you do when you didn't have the mic?
Oh my, like, I
Did
can't
you
believe I'm
use
even
your
saying this.
picture
I swore I would never talk about this moment ever just because I was that embarrassed. But I mean, they couldn't come to me. We just had to they couldn't do the interview because I couldn't go run and get it. So
Well, that's
No.
better than if they came to you and you were like, so how?
Yeah, like you used the pen at that point.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That would have
Why is this
been.
thing not on?
Yeah, that's like
I've
a
been,
mistake.
tapping it, be like, yeah. That would have
That's
been a
more.
lot.
that's like a learning experience though. That's not so
It
much of
was.
that's not like a mistake.
I felt embarrassed. Yeah, I felt embarrassed because I was like, that's stupid. Like, out of everything, you're forgetting your mic. But I mean, it was definitely a learning experience, and the feeling that I had, I never want again. So I will never forget my mic again.
Those things happen to everybody. Like, it is never as easy as it seems. Like,
I know.
Not as perfect as they seem on TV. So
I know. I think,
don't
yeah.
see are sometimes even the most embarrassing, where you, like, there's something, hanging from your shoe, like there's toilet paper hanging from your shoe or so, I don't know, like you were running out of the bathroom to do an interview. I'm sure that has happened to somebody. Like,
or there's something in your teeth, or like there's something on your face, or like, I don't know. Yeah. It's not all glamorous for sure.
Oh, I have one more. I want to ask this because you were so great at spelling.
Oh no.
It's not another spelling test, I promise. But if sports were eliminated forever, okay, and this was not a profession, I know, God bless, we wish that isn't the case ever. But if you were not a sports reporter and that wasn't even a possibility, what would your profession be?
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you asked this too. So
she knows.
when I was 10 years old, that's when I was like, I went to an Atlanta Hawks game. I saw the sideline reporter. I like literally turned to my mom and was like, Mom, I want to do that one day. But I guess when I was 9 or a day before that Atlanta Hawks game, I wanted to deliver babies. That's what I wanted to do in life. Like, I used to watch TLC's A Baby Story all the time, which is crazy because I'm like, it's a young kid, but I wanted to go to med school. I wanted to deliver babies. I just thought it was like the most fascinating thing in the world, like bringing life into the world. And that is what I wanted to do growing up. So I don't know if, like, if I wouldn't have gone to that basketball game or when it would have changed for me. But yeah, I think that's what I would have done.
You're the first person who
Hey, you're saying if there's
a 10-year-old wanting to be a midwife. I've never heard of that.
I know.
Ever. That's impressive.
It's not even like there's a family member who's a doctor. I mean, none of that. that's what I wanted to do. I thought it was the coolest thing in the whole world. So if sports were eliminated, yeah, why would I do?
Oh my gosh.
Well, major shout out to the nurses and medical staff right now too. So I'm sure that makes you think about that, and they're working hard in the front lines. I know my mom works in the microbiology lab here in Sacramento, so she's dealing with a lot of those things. But I'm sure while you're thinking about like, well, if sports wasn't here, I'm so appreciative of the people that are working on the front lines and doing everything they can to keep us safe.
Absolutely. We are so incredibly grateful for them, and hopefully they all get home safe every night. So,
well, I think that's a good thing to end on because, obviously this is a podcast about what we're doing when sports are in limbo. But at the end of the day, like, that's not, there's so many more things that are bigger than that this time. So we just have to keep thinking of that and all those people as well. So, but Ashley, this was so fun. Thank you guys so much for being on our podcast. We're sorry we had to put you to the test.
No. I'm glad I redeemed myself, to be honest. So thank you for adding that one in, John. And thank you guys so much. Hope you're staying safe out there. And hopefully we'll be able to see each other again sometime soon.
I know. Virtual hugs.
Yes, virtual hugs. I love that. Thank you guys.
Well, that was definitely a lot of fun. I know I threw something big time at Ashley there trying to spell some of those names. I don't think I would get any of them right, but she did a pretty good job. And it was a great perspective. It was a lot of fun having someone that was in the basketball world on.
For having an iPad in her hands too and not using Google, I am so impressed. Thank you for playing along, Ashley. It was a great effort, and she redeemed herself there at the end.
Well, guys, Ashley was awesome. Nick was awesome as well. We want to know who you guys want to hear from, though. So how can they do that, John?
So you can follow us on social media at Sidelined Pod. We also post these videos on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all those good things, rate us, and even leave a review and tell us how good we look, please. I mean, I need that especially. We know how good these two look. I need people to talk me up a little bit, but appreciate you guys.
Just rate the hair. Rate the hair. 10 out of 10. John Root's hair. We'll see you guys episode 4.